What I wish I knew before homeschool. So this is part 2, and I did a part 1 of the cons, and this is my pros. So I originally was just going to do one long video, but my list got really long. So I split them into 2. So my cons is already up, and this is the pros to what I wish I knew before homeschool. So number 1, if you see me looking down at my notes, number 1 is far and away the biggest pro for me is that I get to see my kids every single day, all day long. I work from home, I do work a full-time job, but I'm here with my kids all day long. And I love that they're not going off on a bus at 7 a.m. and coming back at 3 or 4 p.m. I love that they're here with me. I love that I get to see them and watch them grow and grow together as a family. So that is a huge, huge, huge pro for me. My next one is that I am in charge of their education and pursuing their interests. So I can pick what curriculum they do. I can pick if it's secular or not. If they're in the lake and they see a tadpole, we can learn about tadpoles for the whole rest of the week along with our other stuff. And we do that a lot, actually. Like they'll be like, I want to learn about toads. I want to learn about dragonflies. You know, I want to learn about chupacabra, capybaras. They really wanted to learn about capybaras one week, so we did that. When we pick our states each week, they pick whatever state they want, and we learn about that state for the whole week. So I am completely in charge of what they're learning, and I think that's a huge pro. The next one is that we get to see their strengths and weaknesses and adjust our curriculum to what they need. So I don't want to generalize, but sometimes in schools, kids get left behind, or kids are going at a slower pace than they could be going and they're bored. But with homeschooling, we really get to see their strengths and weaknesses and adjust what we're doing to that. So if they are better with a mastery-based program versus, mastery or spiral, you can do which one fits best for them. And if they need extra help in some areas, you can do that. You don't have to slow down a whole classroom or give them special attention in a school setting. Like, you're here with them and you can see that and adjust whatever you need to adjust. And if they're really, really excelling in an area, then you guys can move forward at your own pace and you can be ahead in that too. So that is a huge pro for us. For example, my kids are both really, really excelling in math. So they're jumping ahead in math quite a bit. And with handwriting, they're a little bit reluctant with it. And so we're taking writing at their pace and making sure that we are able to correctly write the letters before we push ahead to the next one. So that's great for us. The next one I have is real life learning. So cooking together, learning life skills together, being outside together and seeing, a dragonfly and talking about how dragonflies go from eggs to the full dragonfly, and talking about tadpoles and how they go from a little egg to a tadpole to my kids would know better than me. I think there's like 4 or 5 steps to frogs and to a full frog. But we did learn that and they loved it. So it almost feels like there's so many things in a day that can be a learning experience. And yes, you can do that outside of homeschool, of course. But I think the challenge there is when they're getting home, at 3 or 4 p.m. and sometimes parents aren't getting home from work till 5 or 6, and you're kind of doing bath, dinner, bed. And so you don't get a lot of those opportunities. But yeah, we love cooking together and doing art, and it just feels like, there's so many things in a day that you can turn into a lesson. The next one for us is field trips and vacations. So field trips and vacations can happen anytime when you're homeschooling. That is a huge bonus. I think that's number 1 on a lot of people's lists, because you can just take a road trip anytime you want, because you can either teach them on the road or take that week off. You don't, because with schools, they have that, the attendance policies and stuff too. So you have to work around that. You don't want your kids to miss what they're doing in school for the week. But with homeschool, you can pause that or do it on the road. And so really, I mean, it's just great. I know some people that homeschool in an RV, and they're constantly traveling all around. So yeah, that is a huge pro, is just being able to, I mean, vacation, but also like field trips and going to being like, well, today we want to go to the zoo. So we're going to go to the zoo, and we'll turn it into a learning opportunity. We'll learn about the bears, and we'll learn about the lions and monkeys and whatever else they're really interested in. But, you know, and you get to always be that chaperone on the field trip too. The next one for us is my kids are in a supportive environment. Teachers are just people, and you know, sometimes they have a bad day, or sometimes they have favoritism. I mean, they're just people. They're teachers. Teachers are great. I love teachers. They're helping our youth, but they are just people that are not immune to what everybody else feels. And so, I mean, I know that's kind of a touchy subject, but in my home with homeschooling, I know that my kids are being treated well. I know that my kids aren't experiencing like favoritism to somebody else. They're not being left behind or being forgotten about. They're not experiencing bullying. I mean, my sister experienced bullying in elementary school, and it had gotten to the point where they weren't doing much. And so my mom did homeschool us for a year. And in middle school, I experienced bullying myself. And I know that times have changed a bit, and they're taking a lot more steps with bullying in public schools. But I mean, I myself just kind of don't want to take that chance. I like knowing that in my home and with our schooling, we're all having fun and we're all being supported, and we're not questioning if those things are happening. So the next one is we get to celebrate their wins with them. We're knowing exactly where they're at in their schooling. We're knowing when they're reading exactly. So like the first time my son was able to read a book, we cheered and clapped and danced together. And yeah, sure, we could do that in public school, but like, I don't know, would my son know to come home and be like, hey mom, I read a book today, like for the first time ever? Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But we were able to celebrate those wins as they happen. He finished the book and looked at me so excited, and we just started cheering. And it just felt really great for me too. Like in my heart, it fed my soul, it fed me. Just to be able to celebrate those wins with them in real time and know exactly what wins they have. And, you know, just being able to cheer them on as they go. So that felt really good for me. And my next one kind of goes hand in hand with that. I wrote like feeling accomplished and proud. And like, yeah, that's huge. I do feel really, really accomplished and proud as a parent, as a mom, to be able to be like, my kids are doing great and I'm able to teach them. You know, like when I first started, I'm pretty new at this still. We've only been doing it for about a year. And when we first started, there was a lot of questions in my head. Am I going to be able to do this? Like, I've never taught anybody to read. I mean, potty training was hard enough. So how am I going to be able to teach someone to read? And so I was worried about that. My kids are in kindergarten and first grade right now, 4 and 7, freshly 7, almost 5. So that was a big worry for me, teaching them to read. I mean, that's a huge obstacle, but also, you know, just doing their schooling in general and making sure they're where they need to be. But yeah, no, when they started to read, I was like, oh my gosh, like I did that. Like I helped them do that. They didn't, but like I helped them get there, and I found a way to do it and lead them there. And it felt really great for me. It felt like a huge accomplishment for me and for them, and to see them flourishing. And I don't know, It's hard to explain, I guess, but it did feel great. It felt great. Another one I kind of already touched on is breaks whenever we want. So of course, like it's hand in hand with like field trips and vacations, but I guess it's a little bit different in that, like, if we're feeling, I mean, not even sick, if we're just feeling a little bit under the weather, or if we didn't get a great night's sleep, we can take the day off. If we had a rainy week and now it's really sunny and nice out, we can take a few days off. We, at my house, we do school throughout the summer, so we don't take an official summer break or Christmas break, but we do take weeks off here and there whenever we feel like it. My kids are excelling, so I don't feel like taking time off is putting them behind or hindering them in any way. So we are able to just take random time off whenever we feel like it. If they're mental health breaks, or if I'm like, you know what, let's spend the whole day like making cookies and muffins and pizza. Like, let's just do that. We can do that. We can change things up as we feel like it. So that is huge. And they love it too. They love the change of pace and, just being able to kind of go with the flow a little bit. My next one for us is like play groups and finding play groups and friends to play with. And I put this on my cons list because it can be sometimes hard to find play groups that are fit in your schedule and are like-minded and in your area, depending on where you are. But it can also be fantastic just to be able to socialize and find friends that we play with and mesh with, and that we can invite over to our house and we can go to their house. And, the kids really just feel like we're having fun, and it's not just like in a school setting when they get the recess, but the recess is really, really short. And throughout the rest of the day, they're behind a desk. And so with play groups and friend groups and stuff, we're going with them to play, and we don't usually have a time limit on that. Like we're going to go to the park and then we'll leave when we need to. So we get to really explore more of that play versus just being like in a desk next to your friends. The next one, I'm not going to lie, for me it's huge. Sleeping in and slow mornings. And as a mom of 3, 7, 4, and 7 months old, sleeping in doesn't mean what it used to. So sleeping in for me means 7:30 or 8 a.m. And I don't know, maybe some people think it's early, some people think it's really late. But for us, that's about the time that we all just kind of naturally wake up. And so we're not needing to wake up to alarm clocks and rush breakfast and pack the lunches and get to the school bus and like, did you do your homework? Did you pack your bags? We got to get ready to go. Like, go, like get in the car or get to the bus. Like, we get to sleep in, naturally wake up, have a nice slow morning where we just kind of like lounge out, wake up together, like, lounge and just naturally be like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for breakfast, and then make our breakfast together. And it just feels really good. When my oldest was about to go into kindergarten, we were going to do public school. And that was one thing I was like, oh gosh, that's really going to stink. Like waking up so early and having to rush around and get the little kids in the car and like, do all that. So I am really thankful that we did choose homeschool and we get to just have really slow, nice mornings together. Another one, huge, often overlooked, we're sick less. We're sick so much less. My kids did do a public preschool program, and when they did that, we were never not sick. We were sick every week. Between the two of them, like somebody was bringing home a bug, and then they spread it to all of us because we're all cuddling and all super close together. And so we were just always sick. And now it feels like we're sick a lot less. And yeah, I mean, we can all deal with the common cold. But when it was the flu and stuff, like it's tiring. It's tiring to have sick kids. And even if it is just a cold, like my younger ones, like when he's 3, even a cold and a stuffy nose will wake him up multiple times a night because he's like, oh, my nose is stuffy, I can't breathe. And like, obviously he can, but he just is having trouble breathing through his nose. And so it's up constantly at night. So with homeschooling, it feels like we're sick a lot less. Thank you. Sick a lot less. Feels great. And my last one, which I guess isn't the grand finale, could have been anywhere on my list, is that I'm also learning with them. And I am somebody that loves to do researching. I love to do learning. I love to do all that stuff. So I do really like learning with them and learning the anatomy of frogs and the evolution of frogs. And we're learning Italian together. And I really love that. I get to learn alongside them for all of these new things. And then I also get to touch on some things that I may have forgotten. Right now, we're doing anatomy too and learning how many bones are in the body. And it's a little bit of a refresher for me that I definitely had forgotten since my days in school. And so it does feel good to kind of be learning with them and be surprised along with them and be like, really? Wow. I didn't remember that was that many bones in the body either. That's really cool. And they're like, yeah, that's really cool. So learning along with them is fun. It's fun for me. I would count that as a pro. But yeah, my number one, as I already said, is seeing the kids every day, seeing them grow, connecting more as a family, playing outside whenever we want, playing in the lake whenever we want. Do you want to go to grandma's house? Sure, let's go. Like, that's fine. I love that we're able to be so flexible and be able to do, you know, for lack of a better word, whatever we want. I mean, obviously within, you know, the rules and stuff, but it feels really good. It feels really good to have that freedom. And I talked about it in my comms video. That comes along with not a lot of mom breaks or mom and dad time together or anything, but I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I want to homeschool as long as I possibly can, as long as my kids want to do it. I love seeing them every day and watching their minds grow, watching their personalities grow, and not just seeing them at dinner time. So million % worth it. So this was part 2 of my what I wish I knew before homeschooling videos. The first cons, this one is the pros. So check that one out too. All right, my video got cut off and I didn't really realize it. My son also both of them really like to do YouTube videos of like their frog hunting and their Legos. So my phone storage is mucho full. And secret to you, a lot of my cons are also pros. So yeah, check that one out too. And hopefully this helps you make a decision or just see things a little bit differently maybe.